In a sunlit suburban neighborhood, where the hum of cicadas blends with the sizzle of burgers on a Saturday grill, 6-year-old Emily knelt in her family's driveway, her small hands smudged with pastel chalk. With a gentle lisp that charmed her family, she proudly drew a 3-foot-long pink T-Rex, naming it Mr. Cuddlesaurus, and announcing its hug-waving walls with a wave of her purple chalk. This innocent act of creativity, a vibrant expression of her joy, became the target of two men posing as HOA enforcers. Emerging from a suspicious black SUV, they wore poorly stitched vests and carried clipboards, exuding a false authority familiar to many Americans, navigating bureaucratic intimidation. Ignoring her parents, they zeroed in on Emily, declaring her chalk art a violation of a non-existent subsection 14.3. When Emily, clutching her chalk, softly corrected them, "It's Albu Dwaveway." One mocked her lisp with a cruel smirk, saying, "Dwaveway, that's adorable." The other crushed her dinosaur under his boot, grinding it into the concrete as Emily's shoulders slumped, her sparkle fading into shame. This wasn't just about chalk. It was an attack on a child's voice, her confidence, her right to exist unjudged. Dana, Emily's mother, gardening nearby in faded jeans and a sun hat, saw the shift in her daughter's eyes. Her own childhood stutter, once a source of silent pain, surged as a memory, fueling her resolve. Stepping forward, Dana confronted the men, demanding their credentials. When they sneered, escalating with more mockery, "Maybe if you talk like a normal girl, people would take you seriously." And one reached for his belt. Dana's response was swift. Her elbow cracked one man's nose, and she pinned the other against their SUV, her actions a precise defense of her daughter's dignity. For Americans aged 18 to 50, this resonates deeply. A parent's fierce protection against those who belittle the vulnerable, especially children whose differences make them targets. Emily's lisp, her chalk dinosaur, her quiet pride, these were sacred, and Dana's stand ensured they remained so, proving that a child's voice, however it sounds, deserves respect, not ridicule. On a quiet Saturday in a suburban neighborhood, where the scent of fresh-cut grass mingled with the warmth of a summer afternoon, Emily's chalk-drawn pink T-Rex sparkled on her family's driveway. Her gentle lisp, calling it Mr. Cuddlesaurus, was a melody of pride, until two men in fake HOA vests shattered the peace. Claiming authority with clipboards and a stolen SUV, they mocked Emily's speech, sneering, "Dwaveway, that's adorable," and crushed her 3-foot dinosaur underfoot, dimming her joy with shame. Dana, Emily's mother, gardening 10 feet away in denim gloves and a sun hat, felt the sting of that moment, her own childhood stutter echoing in her memory. When the men escalated, one cruelly taunting, "Maybe if you talked like a normal girl, people would take you seriously," and the other reaching for his belt, perhaps a radio, perhaps a bluff. Dana's protective instinct surged. For Americans aged 18 to 50, who faced petty tyrants or seen loved ones belittled, Dana's response was electrifying. She didn't shout or hesitate. She acted with lethal precision. Her elbow cracked the first man's nose, a sharp snap like a breaking branch, sending him crumpling to the pavement, blood pooling across the 5-foot driveway. The second, caught mid-reach, was spun and pinned against the SUV's door, his wrist twisted with a pop. Dana's movements weren't rage but love, calm, trained, unstoppable. Her past, hinted at but never detailed, suggested a readiness honed long before motherhood. This wasn't just about Emily. It was for every child mocked for being different, every voice silenced by cruelty. The neighborhood, drawn by Emily's shriek, watched in awe, phones capturing Dana's stand. Her command, "Get Emily inside now," carried the weight of a mother's unyielding line. For a generation navigating scams and overreach, Dana's fierce defense, rooted in personal pain and parental duty, became a beacon. She showed that some boundaries, here a child's dignity, demand no negotiation, only action. Her elbow, Kanami Mawan, symbol of justice, reminded us that love moves faster than fear, stronger than any fake badge, and more enduring than a bully's smirk. In a serene suburban neighborhood, where 6-year-old Emily's chalk-drawn T-Rex gleamed on a 5-foot driveway. Two men in shoddy tactical vests disrupted the peace, claiming to be HOA enforcers. Their black SUV, lacking plates and reeking of deceit, carried no legal weight, yet they wielded clipboards and fake badges, citing a bogus subsection 14.3 to fine Emily's family $250 for her artwork. When they mocked her lisp and crushed her dinosaur, they revealed a sinister intent, not just to bully a child, but to exploit fear. Dana, Emily's mother, saw through their facade, confronting their lack of credentials and delivering a swift elbow to one's nose, pinning the other against their vehicle. This wasn't an isolated incident, but part of a chilling pattern uncovered by police, resonating with Americans aged 18 to 50 who face scams or overreach. The men, dubbed Buzz Cut and Sunglasses, had terrorized 3 counties, targeting vulnerable families with fake citations. In Bakersfield, a retired couple in their 70s dismantled their mailbox after threats of legal repossession. In San Bernardino, a single mother removed Halloween decorations, fearing a CPS report. Most harrowing, in Arcadia, a 6-year-old boy was approached alone in his backyard for a wellness check, leaving his father too scared to act. These victims, silenced by fear, didn't fight back, unlike Dana, whose stand exposed a stolen SUV and a trunk of knockoff gear, from laminated HOA enforcement cards to useless radios. For a generation wary of fraud, this story strikes a chord, echoing past conversations about standing against false authority, like a Missouri grandmother's defiance of scammers or a Delta Force operator's battle with a corrupt HOA. Dana's actions, backed by neighbors' videos, unraveled a scheme thriving on intimidation, not violence, as Officer Grant noted. Fear silences people more effectively. Her resistance, sparked by a 3-foot chalk drawing, became a rallying cry, proving that fake badges crumble under scrutiny. The men's arrest, charged with impersonation, trespassing, and harassment, validated her fight, while their 5-year sentences ensured justice. Dana's story, like Lucky the dog's earthquake heroics or James's bond with a lion, shows that courage exposes lies, empowering communities to reclaim their voice against those who prey on trust. On a warm Saturday in a suburban neighborhood, Emily's 3-foot chalk T-Rex lay smeared on her family's driveway, crushed by 2 fake HOA enforcers who mocked her lisp. As Dana, her mother, confronted the men, delivering a precise elbow to one's nose and pinning the other against their SUV, neighbors emerged, phones in hand, capturing the chaos. This wasn't just a family's fight, it became a community's triumph, resonating with Americans aged 18 to 50 who value collective action against injustice. Old Man Gerald, 2 houses down, filmed the entire 2-minute clash, while others, like Marie across the street, shouted for police. The footage, uploaded by neighbor Carol with the caption, "Fake HOA cops bullied a little girl," Mom snapped, exploded online, hitting 1 million views in 12 hours and 15 million by week's end. For a generation glued to TikTok and wary of scams, this raw, unfiltered video was cathartic, echoing stories like a Missouri grandmother's stand against fraudsters or a Delta Force operator's HOA battle. Neighbors didn't just watch, they acted, handing Gerald's phone to police, who found fake citations and a stolen SUV, exposing a scam spanning 3 counties. The community's solidarity, from filming to testifying, turned a 5-foot driveway into a battleground for truth. As the video went viral, it inspired victims, like a San Bernardino mom or an Arcadia father, to share their stories, breaking the silence of fear. Dana's calm resolve, saying, "When a man mocks a child's voice, he deserves a message," became a rallying cry. The men faced 5 years in prison, but the real victory was the neighborhood's unity, proving that collective vigilance can dismantle false authority. Like the cultural shift after a pregnant woman's defense in Willow Creek, this moment showed that justice thrives. When communities stand together, phones up, voices loud, refusing to let bullies define their streets. In a quiet suburban neighborhood, 6-year-old Emily's chalk-drawn T-Rex, a 3-foot pink masterpiece named Mr. Cuddlesaurus, became a battleground when 2 fake HOA enforcers mocked her lisp and crushed her artwork. Her mother, Dana, responded with a swift elbow to one's nose and pinned the other against their SUV, defending Emily's dignity with a precision that echoed across America. For audiences aged 18 to 50, this story is a powerful testament to empowerment through voice and symbolism, resonating with cultural touchstones like standing against bullies or reclaiming identity. Emily's lisp, once a source of shame after the men sneered, maybe if you talk like a normal girl, transformed into a badge of courage. Post-incident, she read aloud in class, her voice carrying new weight, and confronted a third-grade bully, declaring, "I live with a dinosaur who boxes." Her confidence, sparked by Dana's fierce stand, mirrors stories like a Missouri grandmother's defiance or a Delta Force operator's HOA fight, where personal strength redefines narratives. Emily's chalk dinosaur, destroyed but reborn, became a cultural icon. A local artist digitized it, adding boxing gloves and a triumphant stance over tiny stickmen, spreading via shirts and stickers. In court, Emily's new drawing, a T-Rex with purple gloves and a No Bullies banner, moved the judge, who praised its impact, cementing its symbolic power. This 10-foot mural, unveiled at Maplewood Park, with red gloves and a "Stand Tall, Speak Proud" message, drew kids in dinosaur hats, posing with flexed arms, and became a community landmark. Dana, nicknamed the Elbow, embodied calm strength, declining fame, but inspiring millions with her words. "When a man mocks a child's voice, he doesn't deserve mine. He deserves a message." Her viral moment, hitting 15 million views, empowered others to share stories of dismissal, from mocked children to silenced women. Like Lucky the dog's earthquake heroism or James's lion bond, Emily's T-Rex and Dana's resolve symbolize resilience against those who diminish difference. Emily's stories, now featuring her dinosaur delivering chalk justice, and Dana's school talk, "Sometimes you stand still, sometimes you move fast," inspired a generation to embrace their voice, lisp or not, proving that empowerment lies in refusing to be erased. One drawing, one elbow, one roar at a time. In a suburban neighborhood, 6-year-old Emily's 3-foot chalk T-Rex, Mr. Cuddlesaurus, was crushed by 2 fake HOA enforcers who mocked her lisp, sneering, "Maybe if you talked like a normal girl." Her mother, Dana, responded with a precise elbow to one's nose and pinned the other against their SUV, defending Emily's dignity in a moment that captivated Americans aged 18 to 50. This wasn't just a fight. It was justice delivered, not through violence but by enforcing a sacred line. A child's voice must not be silenced. For a generation facing scams and bullies, Dana's stand resonates, echoing tales like a Missouri grandmother's defiance or a Delta Force operator's HOA battle. The men exposed as imposters with fake badges in a stolen SUV face swift reckoning. In court, their pattern of intimidation, targeting families across 3 counties, was laid bare, from scaring elderly couples to threatening single moms. Emily's courtroom drawing, a T-Rex with purple boxing gloves and a "No Bullies" banner, stole the show, earning the judge's praise as the most effective impact statement. The men's 5-year prison sentences for impersonation, trespassing, harassment, and child endangerment with no parole marked a legal victory, but the real triumph was moral. Dana's words, "When a man mocks a child's voice, he deserves a message," and her refusal to let Emily's spirit be crushed, taught that justice is personal, immediate, and non-negotiable. The 10-foot T-Rex mural in Maplewood Park, with its "Stand Tall, Speak Proud" message, became a symbol of this lesson, drawing families to celebrate resilience. Like Lucky the dog's earthquake heroism, this story shows that dignity needs no permission, only a reason. Dana's elbow and Emily's roar prove that when you cross a mother's line, justice arrives not in headlines but in the quiet certainty of a family standing firm, unbroken, and heard. The story of Dana defending her daughter Emily's voice against fake HOA enforcers offers profound lessons for Americans, aged 18 to 50, navigating a world of challenges, from petty bullies to systemic scams. First, it teaches that dignity, especially a child's, is non-negotiable. When Emily's 3-foot chalk T-Rex was crushed and her lisp mocked. Dana's swift elbow strike wasn't just a reaction. It was a declaration that no one has the right to diminish another's worth. In daily life, this means standing up for those whose voices, whether due to a stutter, accent, or insecurity, are silenced, be it in classrooms, workplaces, or social media threads. Second, courage exposes falsehoods. Dana's challenge to the imposter's fake badges unraveled a scam terrorizing 3 counties, showing that questioning unjust authority, like an overzealous boss or a shady official, can protect entire communities. Third, collective action amplifies justice. Neighbors' phone videos, hitting 15 million views, turned a 5-foot driveway into a global stage, inspiring victims to speak out. This reminds us to support each other, whether through a quick text, a shared post, or a courtroom testimony, to combat intimidation. Fourth, resilience transforms pain into power. Emily's newfound confidence, seen in her No Bullies T-Rex mural and bold classroom readings, echoes Dana's own triumph over a childhood stutter. We too can channel personal struggles into strength, mentoring others to embrace their differences. Finally, justice is personal, not performative. Dana declined fame, saying, "Justice isn't a brand," proving that true change happens in quiet moments. Defending a coworker, teaching a child self-worth, or drawing a line against cruelty. Like the 10-foot mural urging us to stand tall, speak proud, these lessons empower us to protect dignity, challenge lies, and build communities where every voice, from a lisping child to a weary adult, is heard and valued. No permission required.